Let me hit you with something most men don't want to hear. Women lose attraction silently, long before they leave. And most of the time, it's not because of what you did, it's because of what you keep doing. Welcome back to the channel. If you're tired of guessing what women want and ready to level up your understanding of real attraction, you're in the right place. Today, we're getting into something men have to understand if they ever want to keep a woman's interest alive: the silent attraction killers. These aren't just mistakes, they're behaviors that make a woman's body stay, but her mind check out. They're the little habits and ways of thinking that slowly chip away at how she sees you, respects you, and desires you. And here's the truth: most men don't even realize they're doing these things. They think they're being respectful, polite, understanding, or even romantic. But what they're really doing is giving off weak energy, killing challenge, and handing over their masculine edge without even realizing it. That's why this video is going to be a wake-up call. I'm going to walk you through 7 specific things men should never do with women, because they instantly destroy attraction. Not over time, not after years, instantly. These are the behaviors that, once a woman sees them, she can't unsee them. And once the spark starts to die, it's hard to bring it back. So whether you're in a relationship, just starting something new, or still healing from something that crashed and burned, you need to know this. Attraction isn't just about looks or status, it's about how you carry yourself, what you tolerate, and the energy you bring. Let's get into it. Here are the 7 behaviors that make her stop feeling it for you, no matter how much she once liked you. 1. Chasing her when she's pulling away. When a woman starts to pull away, she stops calling, texts less, becomes distant. Most men's instinct is to chase. They panic, thinking, if I don't fix this now, I'll lose her. So they call more, text more, try harder to make her feel wanted. But here's the cold truth. Chasing her when she's pulling away is the fastest way to kill attraction completely. When a man chases a woman who's becoming distant, what he's really showing is insecurity. It tells her, I don't think I'm enough on my own, so I need to do more to keep you. That energy is heavy, it's needy, and it repels her even further. Attraction doesn't work like a fire that needs fuel. It works like a fire that needs oxygen. You smother it by trying too hard. Now, this doesn't mean you ignore her or play mind games. It means you respond to distance with calm, not panic. You give her space and stay grounded. Let her wonder where your energy went. Let her notice the silence. Because if she has any genuine interest left, that silence will get to her. That's when she starts to chase. You also need to remember, if someone is pulling away, it's often because they want to see how you'll react. Will you collapse? Will you beg? Or will you stand firm, stay busy with your life, and let her come back on her own terms? A man who stays centered in these moments shows true strength, and strength is magnetic. It tells her you're not desperate, that you have value beyond her presence in your life. So next time you feel the urge to chase, pause. Don't send that 3rd text. Don't ask her why she's distant. Fall back, hold your ground, and watch how that changes the entire dynamic. 2. Seeking constant validation. This one ruins attraction more than most men realize. Constantly needing her to reassure you. If you're always asking, do you still like me? Are you mad at me? Or, did I do something wrong? You're silently telling her you're unsure of yourself. And a man who's unsure of himself will never feel like a man to her. Let's be clear. It's okay to want closeness. It's okay to want to feel secure in the connection. But there's a line between genuine emotional connection and emotional dependence. When you start fishing for compliments, asking her to constantly prove her interest, or needing her attention just to feel okay, it becomes emotional weight. And that weight starts to feel like pressure to her. Women don't want to feel like they have to hold you up emotionally. They want a man who brings his own self-worth into the relationship. When you walk into a room with quiet confidence, when you don't need her approval to feel good about yourself, she notices. That's rare, that's valuable. But when you become too emotionally needy, she starts to feel like she's dating a boy instead of a man. That's when attraction fades fast. because no woman wants to mother her man emotionally. The solution is simple, but it takes practice. You've got to start giving yourself the validation you're looking for. That means knowing your own value, no matter how she feels that day. That means being proud of who you are without needing her to say it first. That means knowing she can add to your life, but she doesn't define it. Validation you give yourself is far more powerful than anything she could say. And ironically, when you stop needing it from her, that's usually when she starts giving it freely, because you've become the man she can look up to. 3. Oversharing. Too early. This one slips past a lot of guys because it sounds like a good thing, being open, being vulnerable, sharing your truth. But here's the problem. When you overshare too early, you shift the energy of attraction from intrigue to pressure. Men sometimes think that opening up about their past struggles, their emotional wounds, or their inner fears will make a woman connect with them faster. And while vulnerability can be powerful, timing is everything. If you spill your deepest thoughts and feelings too soon, before she's even emotionally invested in you, it comes off as too intense, too fast, and it often makes her pull away. Why? Because emotional depth has to be earned. She needs time to get to know your energy, to build curiosity, to feel like she wants to unlock who you are. When you hand everything to her up front, your childhood trauma, your heartbreak stories, your insecurities, you remove that mystery. And more importantly, you put her in an emotional position she didn't ask for. Women are wired to want to discover a man gradually. They enjoy peeling back the layers, understanding your confidence, sensing that there's more beneath the surface. But they want to earn that access. It makes the connection feel valuable. It makes you feel like a challenge. And that, more than anything, keeps her hooked. When a man starts off emotionally dumping, even if it comes from a genuine place, it tells her he lacks boundaries. It tells her he might not have processed his own story fully yet, and she's not going to sign up to be your emotional therapist. So here's what you do instead. You pace your emotional depth. You let her see your strength, your grounded energy, your passion first. You drop hints of depth over time, and you let her ask. You share, but not to seek comfort. You share to invite trust. When she earns your deeper side, it means something. When you give it too fast, it usually means the end. 4. Chasing her attention. If you want to kill attraction fast, make a woman feel like she's the prize and you're the one constantly trying to win her over. That energy, chasing, convincing, proving, is one of the biggest turn-offs you can display, especially early on. Here's why. Women don't want a man who seeks validation. They want a man who already knows his worth and moves like it. When you chase, even with good intentions, what you're really saying underneath is, I need your approval to feel like I matter. That energy is weak, and women can feel it instantly, even if they can't always explain why. When a woman senses that you're too available, constantly trying to get her to notice you, replying instantly, double texting, overcalling, or changing your plans just to fit into hers, she may not say anything, but she will slowly lose interest. Why? Because now the dynamic has flipped. You've given up your position as the grounded, focused man with his own world and turned yourself into a guy orbiting hers. Attraction fades when the tension of polarity is lost. Chasing her attention puts you in the role of the pursuer who's trying too hard, and once that happens, her interest starts to die, even if she liked you in the beginning. Now, this doesn't mean you shouldn't initiate or be interested. It means your energy has to come from self-respect, not desperation. You don't chase, you engage. You show intent, then pull back and let her lean in. You stay centered. You make her wonder where she stands with you, rather than giving her all the answers. If you're always the one texting first, always trying to see her, always complimenting her without any real energy in return, you're over-investing. And women never stay attracted to a man who gives them more than they give back. Hold your frame, have boundaries, make her feel like she's in your world, not the other way around. When you stop chasing her attention, she starts wondering where yours went, and that's when her attraction spikes again. 5. Being too nice. This one confuses a lot of men. You're told your whole life to be a nice guy. Be polite, be kind, do everything for her. And while kindness is important, there's a difference between being genuinely kind and being too nice. And the second one destroys attraction. Being too nice looks like always agreeing with her, even when you don't. It looks like avoiding conflict to keep the peace. It means you say yes when you want to say no. You go along with whatever she wants, hoping it'll make her like you more. But here's the truth, it doesn't. It actually makes her lose respect for you. Because deep down, women don't want a man who's just trying to please them. They want a man who has backbone, standards, and the confidence to say, no, that doesn't work for me. A man who knows how to lead, make decisions, and stand firm even when she tests him, which she will. You might think you're being nice when you let her pick everything, where to eat, what to do, how fast the relationship moves, but in her eyes, you're showing her that you have no direction, no edge, no strength, and women don't trust men who don't lead. There's a difference between kindness and weakness. You can hold the door open, be warm, check in on her, and still say, I don't agree with that. You can be generous and still have limits. That balance is what women crave. A man who's good to them, but doesn't lose himself in the process. There was a guy who went out of his way for every woman he dated. Flowers, gifts, compliments, always available. And every time, the women would lose interest in a few weeks. Not because they were ungrateful, but because they couldn't feel his strength. He had no mystery, no challenge, no depth, just pure, predictable niceness. Being too nice comes from fear. Fear of losing her, fear of rejection, fear of being disliked. But women don't want a man who moves in fear. They want a man who moves in confidence, someone who isn't afraid to walk away if his standards aren't met. That's the kind of man they respect and get attracted to. If you've been too nice, you don't need to become a jerk. You just need to stop bending over backward to be liked. Start being real, being firm, and being yourself, unapologetically. The more grounded you are, the more she feels like she can trust your strength. That's what keeps her interested. 6. Letting her control the frame. One of the biggest attraction killers that most men don't even realize they're guilty of is letting a woman control the frame of the relationship. And if you don't know what that means, let's break it down in the simplest way possible. The frame is the unspoken rules and emotional tone of your dynamic with her. It's the direction, the energy, the pace, and who is leading it. Now here's the hard truth. The one who controls the frame controls the connection. And if you're not the one setting the frame, you're reacting to hers. That's where attraction quietly dies. When a man is always responding, adjusting, or waiting for her to define things, she starts to feel like he's not in control. And when she feels that, her desire slowly fades, even if she doesn't say it out loud. Letting her control the frame can show up in subtle ways. You let her decide when to talk, when to see each other, when things get intimate. You're constantly checking in, waiting for signs of approval. You follow her lead on everything, and to you, it might feel like you're being respectful or patient, but to her, it feels like you're unsure, hesitant, passive. Women are naturally emotional and intuitive. They feel the shift in energy before they can logically explain it. And when she feels like she's the one leading the dance, it feels wrong, because feminine energy wants to respond to strength, not lead it. Here's what you need to understand. A man who sets the frame doesn't force anything. He just knows who he is, what he wants, and how he moves. He's calm. He makes decisions. He chooses when to engage, when to pull back. He defines what kind of relationship he wants, and he communicates that, not through long talks, but through his actions, consistency, and confidence. When you lead the frame, she either follows or she doesn't. But either way, you're not chasing, begging, or proving anything. You're walking your path. That's what keeps women drawn in. That sense that you are the one setting the tone, not just responding to hers. A lot of men lose the frame because they're scared. Scared she'll leave. Scared they'll mess it up. So they over-accommodate, over-explain, and try to please her into staying. But attraction doesn't work that way. The more you give up your position to make her comfortable, the less she feels that magnetic pull. You don't need to dominate. You just need to lead with presence, with clarity, with strength. keep the frame, and you'll keep the attraction. 7. Ignoring your own standards. Here's a truth most men need to face. A woman doesn't lose interest because you were too nice, or not rich enough, or didn't look like her type. 9 times out of 10, she loses interest because you lost your grip on your own standards. And when that happens, she stops seeing you as someone she can respect, desire, or look up to. When a man ignores his own standards, emotional, mental, physical, or relational, he tells her something without saying a word. I'll lower who I am just to keep you. That's not strength. That's not leadership. That's not masculine. That's fear disguised as effort. You had standards before she showed up. Maybe it was how you spent your time, how you expected to be spoken to, how you handled disrespect, or how you chose the kind of woman you'd engage with. But the moment she starts testing you, being inconsistent, vague, flirty with other guys, or cold one day and warm the next, and you say nothing, do nothing, and still try to keep her interested, she reads it for what it is: weakness. And weakness kills attraction. A woman will push your boundaries, not always intentionally, but emotionally. It's part of how the feminine tests for strength. She wants to feel you have a spine. She wants to know you won't collapse under pressure, won't bend just because she pouts, or ghosted you for a few days. She's not doing it because she wants to walk over you. She's doing it because her biology is wired to seek safety, leadership, and confidence. So when you accept behavior you wouldn't normally accept, when you tolerate disrespect, when you keep giving attention after she clearly stopped earning it, that's when the attraction flips off like a switch. This is where a man must wake up. You don't need to yell, you don't need to argue, and you don't need to threaten to leave. You simply live your standards. If she can't meet them, she disqualifies herself. That's how a man moves. Not emotionally, not reactively, but with silent clarity. Men who keep women's attraction are not always the richest or best looking, but they are consistent with who they are. They're not constantly adjusting to fit into her world. They invite her into theirs, and if she doesn't fit, they keep walking. That's the energy that makes her think about you when you're not around. That's the presence that sticks in her mind even after weeks. If you've been letting your standards slide, it's time to take them back. Not for her, for you. Attraction isn't about trying harder, it's about becoming the kind of man that doesn't need to chase. A man she doesn't want to lose. Here's the cold truth. A woman can be physically attracted to you, emotionally curious about you, even sexually engaged with you, and still lose interest in you almost instantly if you cross any of these lines. Why? Because attraction is fragile. It's not just built on looks or words. It's built on how a woman feels in your presence. And the second she feels like you've lost your power, your direction, or your self-respect, she checks out, quietly, permanently. Most men don't realize they're doing these things. They think being accommodating, available, and nice will win her over. But that's not how attraction works. You don't convince a woman to be into you. You create an energy that draws her in naturally, just by how you move, how you lead, and how you protect your own value. So here's your challenge. Stop asking, what do I need to do to make her stay? And start asking, what kind of man do I need to become so that she wants to stay? Because if you're constantly managing her mood, trying to please her, or ignoring your own needs to keep her close, you've already lost her respect. Now I want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Which one of these hit hardest? Have you done any of them in the past and seen the effect? I'll be there replying, engaging, and helping you break it all down. You're not alone. You're just one decision away from being that man again.